We're ready. Let's make some sourdough. This is my starter. And as you can see, it's almost to the top. When I fed my starter, it was about right here. And what you want is for it to double and look bubbly. So if you're unsure if your starter is ready, all you have to do is take a little bit of your starter and you're gonna put it into just water. I use filtered water. We have an RO system, so I just use that. Just put it into your water, ideally if it'll come off of your finger. And if it floats, and as you can see, it is floating, that means your starter is ready to make bread. Super duper easy. We're gonna take a big bowl, the biggest bowl that you have, okay? And you're gonna dump all of this into your bowl. I always, almost always feed my starter again right away. I don't know why, because I don't end up making that much bread. But you want to just leave a little bit in your jar if you're gonna do that. I recommend it because even if you don't use it right away, I've been using it for discard recipes. So you're just gonna kind of leave the remnants of what's left in your jar and we're gonna feed that in a little bit. So you put all of your starter in your bowl. To that, you're gonna add 4 cups of water. Some people say use warm water. Some people say straight from the tap. It's whatever you wanna do. I prefer filtered water. Again, we have a reverse osmosis system. So I'm just using our RO water and you're gonna put that in and this is gonna create your slurry. Now, you're really supposed to mix this with wood, with a wooden tool. I have all kinds of fancy tools that you can get, but I don't have fancy tools. I'm using what I got. So I have a wooden spoon. I don't like to use this end because everything gets caught up in it. So I just use the back end of a wooden spoon and you just kind of stir this up really well. Stir this up, you just kind of want to get that incorporated in the water into the sourdough starter, into your little slurry mixture. This is so forgiving, you cannot mess it up, trust me. Trust me, that's why I love it. So we're gonna do that, and that's pretty well mixed up. So then you're gonna do this calls for 2 tablespoons of salt. Now, I do say do what you wanna do. I found 2 tablespoons made a little bit too salty of a bread for me. So I like to do about 1.5 tablespoons. So I'm gonna measure it over something that's not my actual bowl that I'm making stuff in. So just add 1. And then again, I'm not gonna do a full 2nd tablespoon. I'll probably do 1.75 tablespoons, if that makes sense. So add that, and then you're gonna stir this up really well. Slurry. Now, to this slurry, we're gonna add 9 cups of flour. Yes, you heard me correctly, 9 cups. This, you can use whatever flour you want, organic, not organic. If you wanna make the best, cleanest bread possible, use organic. I did not have time to go to the store and get the organic, so I'm just using this King Arthur's all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you want. I don't care what you do. This is what I use. This is what works for me. And I love it. So that's the flour I am using today. And you just kind of stir this until it's mixed up. It's mixed up. So that's it. Now I have pre-measured my flour here because I didn't want to keep you guys here waiting for me to do 4 cups of flour. So then once that's all done, great. So you've got your slurry mix, and now you're just gonna add all your flour. So I just kind of dump it all in there. And that's it. And then from here, you're just gonna kind of mix and mix. And from here, you're just gonna kind of mix and mix. And you're gonna get to a point where it's not mixing well with your tool, whatever you're using. So once you get to that point, you're just gonna get in there with your hands and get real messy. So we're just gonna mix this for a moment, and then I'm gonna get in there with my hands and we're gonna do it up. You will know when that happens. You'll know when you're to that point because it just isn't gonna mix quite as well. Now, I'm weird. I don't like to get stuff under my fingernails. I don't know, I'm just a weird person that doesn't like to have stuff on my hands when I'm cooking. Like if I'm mixing up like any kind of meat for meatballs, no. So I like to put on these little gloves. You do you, boo-boo. You can get your hands in there and get all kinds of messy. Some people love that part of this. And so if you're one of those people that likes to have your hands in there actually touching it, go for it. I'm not one of those people, so I'm putting my gloves on. So it's essentially just gonna look like this big blob of mess, and that's exactly what you want it to look like. So once it's all done, you can see it's just kind of a blob right now. So you're just gonna kind of put that right in the middle of your bowl, okay? And then you're going to take your handy dandy disposable shower cap and put it right over the top of your bowl. And then you're gonna put this somewhere in your kitchen where it's warm. I like to put mine in my microwave because I have the light underneath my microwave and it kind of makes it a little bit warmer in there and it helps it rise better. So we are gonna let this sit for 30 minutes and we're gonna do our first stretch and fold. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, it's time for our first stretch and fold. This part I don't mind getting my hands in. So take your shower cap off. You'll already be able to see that the consistency of the dough is starting to change. So this is super easy. You're gonna stretch and fold 4 times. So you're just gonna get your hands up under the bread and you're gonna pull up about 12 inches and fold it over. And then you're gonna turn your bowl. You're gonna do the same thing. Get your hands up under there, pull it up about a foot, fold over. It's still pretty sticky at this point, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. And then pull up and fold over. And then you're gonna go one more time. Up and over. And that's it. And then you're gonna replace the shower cap and put this back into your warm spot of your home. The bread sat for 90 minutes, so we're gonna do our next stretch and fold, and we're doing the exact same thing. Just gonna get your hands up under there. This dough has definitely changed. It's much softer. It's gonna be a lot easier to pull up, and you can see it stretches much easier. Do the same thing. Pull up about 12 inches, stretch and fold it over, and we're gonna do that 4 times. Super simple. And you're gonna, like this, I don't know, this part is kind of fun to me, watching like the chemistry of the dough change. So pretty cool. And again, you're just doing this one 4 times. And then the next step, we're gonna split this up and make it into actual loaves. So that's it. And then cover it up again with your little cap. And it's going back for another 90 minutes. So your bread has sat again for 90 minutes. This is gonna be a different stretch and fold. So at this point, you're gonna take all of your dough out of your bowl and put it onto your counter. It's gonna be a bit sticky, but that's okay. This is normal for this phase. Just kind of scrape it all out of there. Okay, now this recipe can make 2 large loaves or 4 small loaves. We don't go through a ton of bread. I like to do the smaller loaves, so I'm gonna divide this evenly 4 ways. It doesn't have to be perfect, as evenly as you can get it, 4 ways. So, and then at this point, we are going to play with the dough a little bit. And what we're doing here is called creating tension. So, but first we have to do a stretch and fold. So first you're gonna take your dough and you're gonna stretch and fold. But what you're gonna wanna do is get it kind of into like a rectangular shape. I always kind of pull mine out like this and then put it on the counter. Again, this does not have to be perfect. I still consider myself a beginner at this. So that's it. And then you're gonna fold it over here. And you're basically kind of folding it in thirds and folding it here again. And then you're gonna roll it up. And again, this is kind of sticky, but that's okay. And then here you're gonna create tension. So you're just gonna pull it back towards you and then push it away. And you're gonna pull it towards you and push it away. And you're just kind of, and you don't have to go like away and towards you. You're just kind of moving this around and creating that tension. And you'll kind of feel and see your dough change as you're doing this, as you're creating this tension. This is just gonna help make you have better bread. Change again. So you're just gonna create a little bit of tension in each one of these loaves. I mean, I don't really know how long you're supposed to do this. A few times until it kind of changes. Alexa, stop. But that's kind of enough for me. So we're gonna set this one up here. Then we're gonna come to the next one. I'm trying to kind of work fast because you want this dough to not change too much more, just because it's a little bit harder to work with. So I'm working kind of fast, especially since I'm doing 4 instead of 2. Now, if you're just doing the 2 loaves, this goes differently, obviously. But since I'm doing the 4 smaller size loaves, yeah, look how sticky that is. So that's okay. It's gonna be sticky. You're gonna get a little messy. Yes, I'm doing this without gloves. I do this part without gloves. This one doesn't get under my fingernails. That's the main thing for me. So just move it around. And you're gonna do this 2 more times with the other 2 loaves, and then I'll show you what you do after that. So here you've got all 4 of your, or 2 if you do 2. You're just gonna cover it with a towel and set your timer for 20 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes. This is your final stretch and fold, and you're just gonna do the same exact thing that you did before. Take your dough. I do this to kind of get the rectangular shape going. Stretch it out. And you're gonna notice that your rectangles are smaller this time, and that's normal because the gluten is forming in that dough. Fold, fold, roll it over, and then build your tension. And you're just gonna do this until you feel like that ball is good. Now, how you know if you're done building tension, you're kind of gonna want this to look, this is gonna feel more smooth and it's gonna have a good spring back. That's what I've noticed. That's how I know that my tension is built. I don't know what else to say. So just gonna do that a few times, get that back and forth and all around, build some good tension in that loaf. And then you're gonna put it in your, if you're a sourdough guru, then you probably have the cute little baskets that you put your sourdough in. I am not. I am a beginner. So I use glass bowls with a tea towel, and I have 1 colander, so I use my colander as well. And that's what I let them proof in overnight in my fridge. Now, once you're in there, that's it. You just place it in your bowl, and then you're gonna take your handy dandy shower cap. You can save the one that you had from earlier and certainly use that. I accidentally threw it away, so I'm just gonna grab a new one and just put that over, and that's it. This is ready to go in your fridge. You can put it in the fridge for 90 minutes and then bake it, or you can put it in overnight and you can bake bread in the morning or evening or whenever you're doing this. You can leave it in your fridge for, they say, up to 3 days, but you may be able to do it longer, play around with it, see what you think. But that's it. Now you're done. And you'll have bread very soon. Okay, it's morning and this place is a mess, including me, but let's bake some bread. The first thing you're gonna do is preheat your Dutch oven. Well, preheat your oven. Put your oven on 450 degrees, and then you're gonna put your Dutch oven inside your oven with the lid on, and you're gonna do that for about 5 minutes. That's step 1. Okay, once your Dutch oven is inside your oven, you're going to take your bread that's been in the fridge and put it on parchment paper. I like to dust the top of mine. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but today I'm gonna dust the top of mine with just a little bit of flour. It just kind of, I think it just looks pretty and it just kind of adds to the prettiness of it. So just I don't know, a sprinkle of flour. There's no measurement on that. And then you're gonna take I just use a very sharp paring knife, and you're gonna cut around, this is called the ear, and you're just kind of making a C shape all around your bread. Now, if you had one of those fancy razors, this would probably go a little bit better, but I don't, and so I'm gonna do me. Excuse me. Now you can make all your fancy designs if you want. I don't do a lot of fancy designs. I just make a few cuts, different directions. I don't know, maybe I'll get fancier at some point. And then you're gonna put this in your Dutch oven. And I gotta get that out of my oven, so I'll do that. And then we'll see what's next. So you just put it inside your Dutch oven, parchment paper and all, and then you're gonna put the lid back on. The reason that you preheat it is to keep any steam from getting trapped inside your bread loaf. So put that in, goes in your oven, 25 minutes, covered, and then uncovered for 8 to 10 more minutes, depending on how dark you like your bread. Okay, 25 minutes has passed, do not judge. You're gonna come in here. Now, I just do this because I'm like super talented. You're gonna take that lid off, and then you're gonna let this go for another 8 to 10 minutes. So this is your beautiful finished loaf. It should look something like this. It's gonna look different because everybody's looks different, but you're gonna hear this nice crunch. That's what you want. It is perfection. This is kind of what it looks like on the bottom. I like mine a little darker, so that's why it looks like this. You don't have to go that dark if you don't want, but that's what it looks like. Okay, friends, let's feed our starter. So this is the remnants of what you just made that's left in your jar. It's usually about a tablespoon. That's what you're looking for. So to this, we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of water to create our little slurry. We're gonna take the same spoon that we just mixed everything with, I know this is kind of backwards and out of order, but this is how we're doing it today, okay? Are we still gonna be friends after this? Anyway, create this slurry. It's just gonna look like this, real watery. And then to that, we're gonna add 1 cup of flour. Again, if you wanna do grams instead of cups, that's perfectly fine. I don't have those directions for you, but feel free to go out there to the internet because they do have them. So you're just gonna mix this up and that's it. You're gonna take this, once you have it mixed, which it's gonna, once it's mixed up, as you can see, it's gonna look kind of like thick pancake batter. So once that's mixed up, that's it. Like, it's super duper simple. You just want to make sure that all the flour is incorporated into the remaining starter and the water. So it's going to look like this. You kind of can't tell, but my jar is filled to here now. So it's about a little less than half of my jar. And then I'm just going to use my shower cap that I had over this before. Place this in a warm place in your kitchen. Microwave is my place. That's where it stays the warmest. I keep my house cooler. My starter took about, what time is it now? 2:30. My starter took about 6 hours, I'd say today, to be ready. So just, you kind of have to gauge it with your kitchen and your environment. So anyway, into the microwave this goes, and it'll be ready for some more bread that I may or may not make later.